number 10 is Christina Ricci. Christina Ricci is one of the few 90s stars that took that fame and ran with it, literally just never stopping. She is really killing it. Ricci made her film debut in 1990's Mermaid when she was just 9 years old, and the very next year she landed the role of Wednesday Addams in both The Addams Family in 1991 and Addams Family Values in 1993, which are two of my favorite movies when I was growing up, I can't lie. She also starred in Casper in 1995. Like I said, she hasn't stopped though. Some of my favorites from her long list of credits include Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas in 1998, Sleepy Hollow in 1999, Monster in 2003, Black Snake Moan in 2006, and you may not agree, but man, Speed Racer from 2008 has got a special place in my heart, I don't care. Christina has had roles in television, on Broadway, voice acting, and she is also the national spokesperson for the RAI National Network. Number 9, Macaulay Culkin. Ah, yes, the one a bunch of you guys seem to think that I look like for some reason. But Macaulay Culkin is probably best known for his breakout roles in both Home Alone and Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, where he played Kevin McCallister, which got him nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Actor. His Home Alone roles led to him getting roles in My Girl in 1991, The Good Son, and The Nutcracker in 1993, and Getting Even with Dad, The Pagemaster, and Richie Rich in 1994. Now, following Richie Rich, Culkin took a break from acting to try and live a normal life, but he would return in 2000 to the theater, returning to film a few years later with films like Saved and Sex and Breakfast, as well as guest starring on Will and Grace and Robot Chicken. He has had a run-in with the law in relation to substances back in 2004, and his relationship with his parents has always been a point of contention with the star. In 2013, he formed the band The Pizza Underground, which is a comedy parody group of the Velvet Underground with lyrics about pizza. Number 8. Leonardo DiCaprio. It's definitely easy to forget that Leo got his start as a 90s child actor. I mean, at least if you were born after the 2000s it is. DiCaprio's first major roles included guest starring on The New Lassie, Santa Barbara, and Roseanne, before landing roles in sitcoms like Parenthood and the last season of Growing Pains. But it all pretty much changed when he starred alongside Robert De Niro in 1993's This Boy's Life. The rest is pretty much history, as throughout the 90s Leonardo DiCaprio would go on to have leading and large roles in films like What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Titanic, and Romeo and Juliet, all before he even turned 18. Now, he is one of the first names some people think of when they think of Hollywood, having been Oscar nominated for Best Actor a large handful of times for films like The Wolf of Wall Street, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Blood Diamond, The Aviator, and even winning for The Revenant. There's also his dating life, which has become a bit more of a controversial topic for the now 47-year-old actor. Hey, if you guys are liking what you're seeing, don't forget to like this video to show us your support. And in at number 7 is Kenan Thompson. If you have watched Saturday Night Live past 2003, then you know who Kenan Thompson is. And if you don't, well, you should. Over the course of 20 seasons of the comedy sketch show, the longest tenured cast member ever, he's been nominated for 4 Primetime Emmys, winning one for his contribution in the sketch Comeback Barack. He is also the longest serving African-American cast member, surpassing Tim Meadows, and he also holds the record for most celebrity impressions performed on the show, performing 139 different impressions. Since 2021, he even has his own sitcom on Hulu, literally called Kenan. Kenan Thompson actually got his start as one of the original cast members of a different sketch comedy show, Nickelodeon's All That, in 1994. This show is where Kenan would often co-star with Kel Mitchell, and together they would go on to have their own sitcom show, Kenan and Kel, from 1996 to 2000. He had a few other films including The Mighty Ducks and Fat Albert. Thompson received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on August 11, 2022, and it was placed next to Lorne Michaels' star, who referred to Thompson as the person I most rely on in the cast of SNL. Number 6. Tahj Mowry. Now, a lot of you may not know Tahj Mowry, but he played the lead character, child prodigy TJ Henderson, in WB/Disney Channel's 1997 sitcom Smart Guy. And that was one of my most favorite shows growing up, and like no one talks about it. Tahj is actually the younger brother of 2 other child stars, Tia and Tamara Mowry, who I think usually get more recognition, but Who cares? After Smart Guy, Mowry would go on to actually voice the super genius character of Wade Lode on Kim Possible. Before all of that, he actually had a recurring role on Full House as well. Like a lot of Disney child actors, Tahj floated around performing in a bunch of Disney-related shows, movies, and miscellaneous productions, but found himself appearing in other shows as well, like Desperate Housewives as an example. He has had some experience in the music industry as well, releasing a 7-track EP. He's a little bit lesser known than a lot of the stars on this list, but I don't care, I think he's dope. Number 5. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. Combo! Not just one, but two, count them, two child stars wrapped up into a combo that most of us know as the Olsen twins. Now, technically these twins actually got their start in the late 80s, being cast together as Michelle Tanner on the ABC sitcom Full House at the age of 6 months old. They couldn't actually film until they were 9 months old, but they re-swapped out to conform with child labor laws and played the character on the show all the way up until 1995. These two kids were put to work. Now, while filming Full House, the two would have roles in film and TV, including To Grandmother's House We Go in 1992, and then under their dual-star company, they would star in 1993's Double Double Toil and Trouble and 1994's How the West Was Fun. Over the years, they have grown and taken control of their dual-star company to make the list of wealthiest women in the world. The pair have actually retired from the screen around 2004-ish, shifting their focus to fashion design and launching their own luxury fashion label, The Row. They were named Women's Wear Designer of the Year by the Council of Fashion Designers of America in 2012 and 2015. Number 4. Mara Wilson. You'll recognize Mara Wilson as the youngest girl in Mrs. Doubtfire from 1993, which skyrocketed her into being able to snag a bunch of roles right off the cuff, including Nikki Petrova in Melrose Place and Barbara Barton in the television film A Time to Heal. She even performed a song at the 67th Academy Awards alongside Tim Curry in 1995. And that same year, she won the Show West Award for Young Star of the Year. But I think her biggest role would come in the form of the title character in Danny DeVito's Matilda from 1996, which got her nominated for 3 awards and winning the Young Star Award for Best Performance by a Young Actress in a Comedy Film. She actually retired from film acting in 2000 after appearing in Thomas and the Magic Railroad, and instead focused on her education and pursuing writing, theater work, and other entertainment projects outside of film. Mara has been a huge supporter of other child stars, coming to the defense of those like Millie Bobby Brown, and being one of the more composed and mature child stars to make their way into adulthood. Number 3. Haley Joel Osment. Haley Joel Osment got his start in Hollywood in a huge movie, 1994's Forrest Gump as Tom Hanks' Forrest's eventual son with Jenny. Like this video if you also think Jenny is a horrible person. Please like this video, because she's kind of the worst. Anyway, Osment then went on to really knock it out of the park in 1999's The Sixth Sense, which won him a Saturn Award and earned him nominations for an Academy Award, a Golden Globe Award, and Screen Actors Guild Award, and so much more. It was likely his role in this film, plus a few others, that had him become Steven Spielberg's one and only casting choice to play the artificially intelligent, childlike robot David in his film AI Artificial Intelligence in 2001, which won Osment another Saturn Award. Since breaking into Hollywood, he actually got a long-running video game role as Sora in Square Enix's Kingdom Hearts series, with 12 credits for just that series alone, plus one more in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. His list of credits is super long and super impressive, and he's still killing it at just 34 years old. Number 2. Ryan Gosling. It's probably bad, but I actually had no idea Gosling was a 90s child star. But he was, and that's how he got his start, moving up the ladder a lot like Leo did to become a huge, critically acclaimed name in Hollywood and winning so many awards and nominations that Wikipedia has a page solely dedicated to just that topic. In 1993, he became a prominent child star on Disney Channel's The Mickey Mouse Club, and went on to appear on other kids shows like Are You Afraid of the Dark in 1995 and Goosebumps in 1996. But in complete stark contrast to that, he starred in 2001's The Believer, which is a very mature movie. His other early film credits include indie films like Murder by the Numbers and The Slaughter Rule, both in 2002. So yeah, he went from Disney to dark as hell, but look where he is now. On top of film, Gosling's band, Dead Man's Bones, released their self-titled debut album and toured North America in 2009. He also co-owns Tahj, a Moroccan restaurant in Beverly Hills. He is a supporter of PETA, Invisible Children, and the Enough Project, and has traveled to Chad, Uganda, and Eastern Congo, being involved in peace promotion efforts in Africa for over a decade. And in at number 1 is Anna Paquin. Okay, I learned a bunch of things that I had absolutely no idea about Anna Paquin here. For starters, I had no idea she was from New Zealand. And secondly, when she made her acting debut as Flora McGrath in the romantic drama film The Piano from 1993, she literally won an Oscar. At the age of 11, she won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, the second youngest winner in history. So obviously you can imagine this got her career started on a really high note. She would go on to win multiple Young Artist Award nominations for her roles in Fly Away Home in 1996, The Member of the Wedding in 1997, and A Walk on the Moon in 1999. Not to mention a nomination for the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Motion Picture for appearing in Cameron Crowe's comedy drama film Almost Famous in the year 2000. She also appeared in the films Jane Eyre in 1996 and Amistad in 1997, and that's all in the 90s since she started her career in 1993. That's insane. Obviously, she went forward and killed it as Rogue in Fox's X-Men franchise starting in 2000 and has accrued multiple award-winning roles in various films since then. And she was the lead character in 7 seasons of HBO's True Blood. I barely scratched the surface, but damn Anna, good lord.
Taking our 10th spot is Matt LeBlanc. Recently, the public noticed Matt seemed to look very unlike his past self when he was spotted sporting baggy sweats and facial stubble. The Joni Cerviani Friends actor doesn't make many public appearances, but the paparazzi managed to catch him at a Sherman Oaks body shop one day, and the response was crazy. The rare sighting lines up with fans' heavy expressions of concern for Matt's friend and co-star Matthew Perry, who we'll be breaking down a bit further into today's list. As someone who was once credited for being the heartthrob of Friends himself, now being a bit older and probably wiser, Matt seems rather unfazed by the number of beauty standards his iconic character was held to. In fact, he's even allowed his hair to go naturally gray and doesn't seem to mind not keeping its maintenance. Nonetheless, the biggest thing that made Matt's Friends character Joey so amazing was his confident humor, which is thankfully still very much intact with Matt now. Subscribe and tap the notification bell to never miss another update about your favorite celebrities. Taking our 9th spot is 50 Cent. After 50 Cent's surprise 2022 Super Bowl halftime appearance in LA, he became an instant meme due to his hanging upside down entrance. Viewers pretty much took their mockery about the artist to an entirely new level, as the instant repercussions from the show involved social media collectively fat-shaming 50 Cent. For the performance, 50 Cent recreated portions of his 2003 music video, but rather than going shirtless as he did in the original scenes, he instead wore a white tank top. The response from fans came shortly after, with people saying the musician looked unrecognizable. To clap back, 50 Cent posted a picture of him backstage with rapper Eminem, captioning the post, "I call this teasing me. They're just teasing me because they know I can drop the weight. That's why I'm laughing with them. Fat shaming only applies when you're ashamed of your fat, lol." Taking our 8th spot is Matthew Perry. Reeling back a bit, let's get into Matthew. Since the reunion of Friends took place, Matthew has seemed more unlike his past self than ever, according to his supporters. This could have a lot to do with the actor's admission that he openly struggles with addiction. Because of this recent revelation, numerous fans are hanging on to fears that he will relapse, as they did previously. This specifically reached a notable breaking point for fans back in May 2021. At the time, Matthew took part in a sit-down with his Friends co-star and People magazine for their cover issue. Fans of the actor began pointing out that he didn't seem responsive in a normal way, and rather than his typical comedic approach and tone, Matthew was said to be nodding off and slurring his speech. At some point, a YouTuber commented, "I know we're all sad about Matthew, but let's remember he has suffered a lot of health-related issues and he has struggled with addiction. Let's all be kind and polite and remember all the funny moments he gave us as Chandler." Most recently, Matthew seems to be doing much better with his health and sobriety in general. Taking our 7th spot is John Travolta. John became a quick household name by starring in classic films like Pulp Fiction and Grease, both of which the actor donned some of the most most iconic hairstyles and looks. However, there was a single Instagram post of John which changed fans' views of him since, claiming he now looks unidentifiable. In the quick video uploaded to the media sharing platform, the post of John was captioned, "John, thanks everyone for wishing you a happy birthday." Now when the actor's name comes up in recent times, it's a fact that most people immediately reference his signature hairstyles from his younger days, so it makes sense that fans were in complete shock when he turned up completely bald on social media. John has been referenced to look like a walking Mr. Clean ad or similar to an audition for Professor X, all clowning coming from his fans. On the other hand though, it doesn't seem that bad to me personally. Still, there are fans who still have no idea how to wrap their head around hairless John. One publication also stated, quote, "I can't believe John Travolta is bald now, and also 69 next year, but also bald." Taking our 6th spot is Courtney Cox, our final Friends star to grace today's list. This sitcom legend got 100% candid with the world earlier this year about her former cosmetic procedures, as well as her excitement to turn 60 in 2 years. The actress opened up about her personal journey of aging as she promoted her new comedy horror TV series Shining Val, which premiered in March of this year under the Starz network and has Rob Morrow and Greg Kinnear as her co-stars. When speaking of her evolving facial features over the years to the Sunday Times style outlet, the mom of one explained how she finally embraced her age. Quote, "I feel like I'm young. I have a lot of friends in their 30s and I don't think about it. To me, we're the same age until I actually study it." When dishing about her upcoming transition into her 60s, Courtney finalized, "Oh god, it's so hard to even hear or say. I can't believe it. There's nothing wrong with being 60, I just can't believe it. Time goes so fast. There's no question that I'm more grounded. I've learned so much in my life, what to enjoy, what to try to do more of, and what to let go of." Taking our 5th spot is Alec Baldwin. Alex transitioned from the fan-proclaimed shirtless tan hottie in 1990s Miami Blues to a controversial, quote, "scruffy, low-budget actor" is pretty startling. Over time, Alec was plagued with a string of public disputes, most recently because of his involvement in the low-cost film Russ. As the leader of the hot Baldwin brothers, Alec was dubbed as the attractive leading man in romance films like Prelude to a Kiss and The Marrying Man. He was able to show off his comedic chops in 30 Rock and on SNL, and even portrayed a silver fox in It's Complicated. However, nowadays Alec seems to appear exhausted and beside himself. For obvious reasons, onlookers deemed he was totally unrecognizable when he handed over his phone to the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office, a device that was believed to hold information containing the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins back in October 2021. Taking our 4th spot is Meg Ryan. Meg's career as an actress started in 1981 with miniature roles prior to her joining the CBS cast for their soap opera As the World Turns a year later. Following this, Meg began making appearances in various supporting roles in big box office films from the 1980s like When Harry Met Sally and Top Gun. By the end of the decade, Meg gained massive widespread attention for the receival of her initial Golden Globe nominations, establishing her as an actor known across the globe. Whenever Atlantic comedy films are involved, you best believe everyone was hoping to cast Meg. Because of this, Meg quickly grew into one of the most successful actresses of the 90s and early 2000s. However, in 2015, during a Paris event, also known as her first public appearance in 14 months at the time, many faced severe shock when they noticed her nose looking notably different, as well as Meg's eyes appeared to be much more unusual, resulting in people branding her as unrecognizable from her past self. Taking our 3rd spot is Jennifer Grey. After Jennifer starred in the Dirty Dancing film, many noted how unaware she was of just how famous she was shaping up to become. Even though the movie didn't have a great performance at award ceremonies, it grew widely popular for specific lines and scenes from the film. However, then Jennifer decided to go under the knife for a bit of cosmetic procedures after the big screen success. What I'm sure she didn't expect to happen was for the public to brand her infamous nose job as the procedure from, quote, hell. Jennifer herself even stated that she was completely unrecognizable, informing the Mirror that she entered the operating room as a celebrity and left an anonymous person. Her nose job tied in with all the other work done to her face completely altered her physical appearance to the point where original fans of the film were unable to recognize her afterwards. Quote, "I had my ears pinned back, I had injections in my lips, I had my chin shaved down, I had my breast redone." Taking our 2nd spot is Angus Jones. Angus is mostly known for portraying Jake Harbour in CBS's 2.5 Men sitcom, which he eventually was awarded 2 Young Artist Awards and a TV Land Award for. As the most popular US sitcom at the time, the show averaged a watching audience of about 15 million viewers. And by 2010, Angus was the highest paid child star on television. When Angus began to naturally age, as everyone does, he was given an awkward new adult storyline for the show because, as an older man, he was unable to receive innocent mannerisms and childish lines from writers that his character Jake was so well known for. By the fall of 2012, Angus described his decision to be baptized and no longer desired working on the show. He even took things as far as deeming the show filth and claimed it conflicted with his newly discovered religious views, dubbing him as unrecognizable, not for his looks this time, but because the complete 360 of his attitude. Taking our 1st spot is Heidi Montag. Heidi was a pretty established person in the industry due to her leading character on MTV's show The Hills, a scripted series made up of groups of friends, enemies, and lovers in LA, altered to seem like it was a reality show. According According to reports, Heidi had an obsession with the idea of changing how she physically looked. In a Radar Online report, Heidi once stated, "I didn't know what an eyebrow lift and a chin reduction once was, so once he kinda told me everything that was wrong with me, I felt really insecure and he gave me a really great deal on it. He didn't tell me how extensive it was going to be, how severe, how painful, so I had no idea." After this, the publication went on to list the procedures Heidi took part in back in 2010. Of course, with this many, she looked completely unlike her former self, but instead of being shocked by it, Heidi told the outlet, "I think I look way better and I'm way happier. Nobody ages perfectly, so I plan to keep using my surgery to make me as perfect as I can be." Since this, Heidi has definitely garnered attention, however it begs to differ at what cost was it worth. It's great that she has no regrets about changing herself so drastically because it's her personal choice, and it seems she needed to do so for health reasons as well. This was explained in an Entertainment Tonight interview in which Heidi concluded, "I've had numbness in my arm as well from pinched nerves because of everything, so my arm has been going on and off for several months now." Taking our 10th spot is Miley Cyrus. Miley has definitely had one of the biggest overall changes on her journey out of puberty. Everyone knew her as the blonde-haired, ocean-eyed cutesy kid who lived a double life as an outcast teenager by day and became a super cool rock star by night. Hannah Montana was such a big part of Miley's life that it sort of became her, but obviously once the show was over, Miley decided it was time for a new version of herself to shine in the spotlight. After her reign on the Disney Channel came to a close, Miley was said to have gone through a wild child phase. She dabbled in the hip-hop scene with her explicit album Bangers, then tried more of a dreamy-ish psychedelic vibe for Dead Pets, and soon found herself back to her country roots with Younger Now. Her latest studio album Plastic Hearts is most notable for her recent sound of the 80s to 90s rock. Throughout her later life, Miley came out as bisexual, dubbed the Cover Queen title, went through both a marriage and divorce, was a VMAs host, and founded her Happy Hippie organization. If you're enjoying today's WATN, subscribe to our channel for more fun Top 10 Celeb Countdowns. Taking our 9th spot is Ariana Grande. From fire chuck red hair and ditzy 2000s fashion to pop princess icon with all the crop tops, miniskirts, and long ponies you can think of, Ariana was always destined to be huge. Her insane vocal abilities and overall star talents helped her break out of the Disney child star curse, as well as assisted her in cutting her ties with Nickelodeon. Alongside her multifaceted personality, her style has evolved massively and has dubbed her a world trendsetter. From her dark curly hair on Broadway to her once signature bold red locks, all the way up until her now iconic winged eyeliner and pony duo, Ariana has pretty much done it all. Pre-wigs, extensions, and added hair, Ariana was once au naturel. First with her black curls and then again without any extensions but really brightly dyed hair. She once spoke about how her commitment to her Cat Valentine role for Nickelodeon managed to destroy her hair. Quote, "I had to bleach my hair and dye it red every other week for the first 4 years of playing Cat. That completely destroyed my hair. I wear a wig on Sam and Cat. My real hair is back to brown and I wear extensions, but I wear it in a ponytail because my actual hair is so broken when I let it down." Old school Ari had a favorite look of bows in her hair and cute ballerina flats on her feet. She also occasionally did the clip-on front bangs look with color coordinating her red hair to her outfits, as all teens did in the late 2000s. However, as she matured, Ariana played around with her fashion a lot, and her experimental phase eventually led to her go-to signature style nowadays. Prior to her big flip though, Ariana's go-to color palette orbited heavily around various candy pink shades. She sported more of a softer makeup look to cater to her youth, and usually wore variations of headbands in her hair when she wasn't wearing bows. Back in May 2013, we got a first glimpse of the earliest versions of her iconic half-up half-down hairdo that's basically become her. Taking our 8th spot is Victoria Justice. Victorious was a breakout star in Nickelodeon's Victorious between the years of 2010 to 2013. However, the starlet swapped out her squeaky clean, fresh-faced image for a sexier, mature look for her work in Fox's The Rocky Horror Picture Show TV adaptation, and it absolutely suited her. She once dished to people about her character, saying, "I love Janet Weiss's character arc because she starts off as very innocently and naive and pure. This is quite similar to Victoria's start as a child to her now." The actress continued, "As the musical progresses, we all go through this dark and stormy night in this night of debauchery, and Janet has a complete redacted awakening. I think it's safe to say that my Nickelodeon days are over." Taking our 7th spot is Bella Thorne. Bella's probably had one of the biggest changes a child star could have. Her days started off on Shake It Up with Zendaya Coleman, however these two stars went on completely different paths. When their show ended in 2013, Bella moved on straight to mainstream film roles like her additions to The Duff and and blended. And despite her still actively acting and singing, Bella's fame and status blew up for rather different reasons nowadays. Aside from her romances with Charlie Puth, Tyler Posey, Maud Sun, and Tana Mongeau, Bella has become a well-known face and name in the adult film industry. Her directorial work in her debut film, Her and Him, won her a Visionary Awards. In the summer of 2020, Bella gained $1 million in a day for her OnlyFans subscription. Taking our 6th spot is China Anne McClain. Between her finding her spirituality and buzzing her hair clean off, China is no longer the angelic-faced, long-locked child princess she was, but rather a much more mature version of her. If you were tuned into the Disney Channel anytime around 2011, you'll know of China because she was in a lot of their productions. And the Disney mainstay remained with the Family Channel for quite a while, from starring in Ant Farm and How to Build a Better Boy to their wildly popular Descendants franchise for its last 2 movies. From rocking bright blue box braids in Descendants to her most recent crew cut, China has been killing the fashion game since she stepped foot into Hollywood. Throughout the years, China has donned various media outlet headlines for her stylish red carpet looks. One of her most talked about looks was her short haircut debut at San Diego's 2019 Comic-Con, and China has never looked back since. To be fair though, she did spend the majority of her childhood rocking her long natural hair, so I don't exactly blame her. She chalked her decision to chop her locks up to realizing that she was spending far too much time dealing with her hair. Quote, "It was holding me back. My family was so supportive of me, and it was a whole year before I actually told the world and my fans that I cut it off." China has certainly ranged from her natural dark hair with her signature soft curls to a more bold blonde ombre to a shoulder length look to various versions of braided extensions like goddess singles and faux locks. However, one thing is for sure, and that is that she can quite literally pull off anything. Taking our 5th spot is Raven Simone. Raven is a classic child star, and I think just about everybody recognizes how she looked as a kid, so there's really no surprise that she made today's list. Since her hanging with Mr. Cooper, That's So Raven, and Cheetah Girls days, Raven's sense of style and looks have made some drastic changes. At one point, the sides of her heads were shaved, and she was rocking rainbow box braids as she came out to the world as queer. Not only did her naturally dark curls and pressed out style change though, but the direction of her career did as well. After an acting hiatus in the 2010s fizzled out, she took a hosting job for The View and made several self-appearances on other talk shows. In 2019, Raven returned to Disney to star in and executively produce her own That's So Raven spin-off called Raven's Home. In 2020, Raven married a social media manager named Miranda. Taking our 4th spot is Anthony Michael Hall. Anthony played one of the most relatable characters for teens in the 80s, but even back then, Anthony was racked with nerves about being typecasted as a nerd his whole life. Because of this, Anthony ventured into all sorts of projects like his SNL single season stint, his conceited actor role in Air Force, his football star character for Johnny Be Good, and his portrayal of a jealous macho boyfriend in Edward Scissorhands. In the latter half of Anthony's career, his hair was completely buzzed off, and he took on newer roles playing law enforcement, including playing Johnny in The Dead Zone. He also leaned into his 80s nostalgia by paying homage to his roots through Riverdale as the villainous Principal Featherhead. Taking our 3rd spot is Matthew Lewis. Matthew once told The Big Issue that he had to wear a fat suit and false teeth and stuff to stick my ears out in order to portray the lovable nerd Longbottom. As per Urban Dictionary, Matthew's character was based on longbottoming, which is detailed as, quote, "the sometimes slow, sometimes overnight, always surprising transformation of someone, usually a man, from decidedly unattractive to hot as hell." Cue Matthew playing Neville Longbottom in the Harry Potter film franchise. Taking our 2nd spot is Ariel Winter. Ariel was merely 11 when she started on Modern Family playing Alex. Her character was meant to be the, quote, nerdier and more sarcastic sibling in the Dunphy clan. While Ariel remained working on Modern Family for 11 seasons, she also dabbled in voice acting for Sophia the First, Smurfs, Robot Chicken, and Mr. Peabody and Sherman, amongst other jobs. Although her physical appearance hasn't changed too much, she also tried out various hair colors, with her most notable being the fiery ginger she's dedicated herself to for a few years now. Taking our 1st spot is Jaleel White. His Family Matters character Urkel was only meant to be on the show for a single episode, but the positively popular response from his comedic performances landed him in the show for a while. In fact, his work was so well received that he made other 80s and 90s sitcom appearances, including Full House and Step by Step. His character was even name dropped in Boy Meets World. His physical transformation is most notable as his character had him primarily dressed up in a nerdier look, with oversized glasses and hitched suspended pants. However, he is still recognized as the most memorable character from the show. Nowadays, he's still acting, but claims he would never do a role like Urkel again. He stuck to his word for nearly 30 years after, until he reprised the character in 2019 to voice act him in a Scooby-Doo and Guess Who episode.